The arena buzzed with electric anticipation, the air thick with the scent of sweat and excitement as the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas prepared for a clash of titans on May 7, 2011. The crowd, a sea of waving flags and roaring voices, awaited the main event, Manny Pacquiao, the pride of the Philippines, defending his WBO welterweight title against Shane Mosley. The battle-hardened American veteran, Pacquiao, known as Pacman, had risen from the streets of General Santos City to become a global icon, his blistering speed and relentless aggression making him a force of nature in the ring. Mosley, dubbed Sugar, carried the weight of experience, a three-division world champion with a reputation for cunning defense and devastating counterpunches. This was more than a fight. It was a collision of eras, a test of whether youth and ferocity could outshine seasoned grit. The lights dimmed, the ring illuminated, and the announcer's voice boomed, setting the stage for a night that would etch itself into boxing history. As the bell rang for round one, Pacquiao bounced on his toes, his eyes locked on Mosley like a predator sizing up its prey. His footwork was a blur, darting in and out, testing Mosley's guard with sharp jabs and feints. Mosley, calm and composed, kept his distance, his jabs snapping out to measure the range. The Filipino's hands were a whirlwind, throwing combinations that seemed to defy physics. But Mosley's high guard and subtle head movement absorbed the early onslaught. The crowd roared with every flicker of action, sensing Pacquiao's intent to overwhelm. Yet Mosley, with decades of ring savvy, refused to be rattled, slipping punches and firing back with crisp counters. The opening round was a chess match, Pacquiao pressing the pace while Mosley studied, waiting for an opening that never quite came. The bell sounded, and both fighters returned to their corners, the tension palpable. Round two saw Pacquiao dial up the intensity. His left hand, a weapon feared across weight classes, began to find its mark, snapping Mosley's head back with a straight that drew gasps from the audience. Pacquiao's angles were mesmerizing, his body weaving side to side as he closed the distance, forcing Mosley to the ropes. The American, however, was no stranger to pressure. He clinched when needed, tying up Pacquiao's arms to slow the Filipino's rhythm. A sharp right from Mosley landed flush, a reminder of his power, but Pacquiao shook it off, his smile flashing across the ring as if to say, "Is that all you've got?" The crowd fed off the exchange, Philippine flags waving furiously while American fans urged Mosley to stand his ground. The round ended with Pacquiao landing a stinging combination, but Mosley's resilience kept him in the fight. The pivotal moment came in round three. Pacquiao, sensing Mosley's caution, unleashed a ferocious assault. His feet danced, closing the gap in an instant, and then it landed a thunderous left hand that caught Mosley square on the chin. The American's legs buckled, and he crashed to the canvas, the arena erupting in a deafening roar. The referee's count began as Mosley, dazed but defiant, hauled himself up at 8. Pacquiao pounced, his fists a blur of leather, targeting Mosley's head and body with surgical precision. Mosley, to his credit, survived the round, using every ounce of his experience to clinch and move, but the momentum had shifted. Pacquiao's corner was electric, trainer Freddie Roach urging his fighter to keep the pressure on, while Mosley's team worked to clear their man's head. Rounds 4 and 5 saw Pacquiao in full control, his speed overwhelming Mosley's attempts to reset the fight's rhythm. The Filipino's combinations were relentless, a jab followed by a vicious hook, then a straight left that seemed to come from impossible angles. Mosley, bloodied but unbowed, leaned on his defensive skills, his arms a fortress against Pacquiao's barrage. He landed a few counters, a right hand here, an uppercut there, but they lacked the snap to deter Pacquiao's advance. The crowd, now a living entity, chanted "Manny, Manny," as the Filipino icon pressed forward, his energy seemingly inexhaustible. Mosley's face told the story of a man fighting not just an opponent, but time itself, his 39 years feeling every bit of Pacquiao's 3-0 by round 6. Mosley's strategy shifted to survival. He moved more, circling the ring to avoid being pinned against the ropes. Pacquiao, undeterred, stalked him with the patience of a hunter, cutting off the ring and landing body shots that echoed through the arena. The Filipino's footwork was a masterclass, his ability to pivot and strike keeping Mosley guessing. A particularly brutal left to Mosley's midsection drew a wince, but the veteran refused to fold, firing back with a combination that, while ineffective, showed his heart. The commentators marveled at Pacquiao's output, his punches thrown in flurries that seemed to defy human endurance. Mosley's corner urged him to let his hands go, but the speed gap was glaring. Pacquiao was simply too fast. Rounds 7 and 8 brought more of the same, with Pacquiao dominating the exchanges. His confidence grew, his smile flashing after landing a crisp three-punch combination. Mosley, however, showed flashes of the fighter who had once ruled the sport. A counter right in round 7 caught Pacquiao off guard, briefly halting his advance. But the moment was fleeting. Pacquiao's ability to absorb shots and keep coming was unnerving, his relentless pressure wearing Mosley down. The American's legs, once his greatest asset, looked heavy, his movements sluggish compared to the Filipino's frenetic pace. Still, Mosley's pride kept him upright, his eyes burning with determination even as the scorecards tilted heavily against him. The fight's most controversial moment arrived in round 10. As Pacquiao pressed forward, Mosley, in a moment of desperation, pushed him to the canvas. The referee, to the shock of the crowd, called it a knockdown. Pacquiao's eyes blazed with fury as he sprang up, gesturing to the referee that it was no punch. The crowd booed, sensing an injustice, and Pacquiao responded with a vengeance. He unleashed a torrent of punches, his left hand a piston, hammering Mosley's guard. The American weathered the storm, but the fire in Pacquiao's eyes was unmistakable. He was out to prove a point. The round ended with Pacquiao landing a vicious hook, and the arena shook with the crowd's approval. As the fight entered the championship rounds, Pacquiao's dominance was undeniable. Rounds 11 and 12 were a showcase of his mastery, his combinations. Painting a masterpiece on Mosley's fading defense, the American, bloodied and battered, refused to quit, his heart carrying him where his body could not. Pacquiao, sensing victory, dialed back his aggression slightly, content to outbox Mosley with precision rather than risk a wild exchange. The final bell rang, and the fighters embraced, a gesture of mutual respect between warriors. The crowd rose to its feet, applauding not just the victor but the spirit of both men. The judges' scorecards were a formality: 118 to 108, 119 to 108, and 120 to 107, all for Pacquiao. The unanimous decision cemented his status as the welterweight king, his record now the second of March '53. With the world marveling at his reign across 8 weight classes, Mosley, gracious in defeat, praised Pacquiao's speed and power, his own record slipping 2 for 6, 7-1. The post-fight scene was a celebration of Filipino pride, with Pacquiao waving the Philippine flag as his team hoisted him onto their shoulders. The crowd chanted his name, a hero not just of a nation, but of the sport itself. In the aftermath, analysts dissected the fight. Pacquiao's performance was hailed as a clinic in speed and aggression, his ability to dominate a future Hall of Famer like Mosley a testament to his greatness. Mosley, while outclassed, earned respect for his durability, taking punishment that would have felled lesser fighters. The controversial knockdown in round 10 sparked debate, with many arguing it tainted an otherwise flawless performance by Pacquiao. Yet the Filipinos' response, turning fury into focus, only added to his legend. The fight's significance stretched beyond the ring, their cheers echoing from Manila to Davao. For Mosley, it was a reminder of his place among boxing's elite, even in defeat. The clash, while one-sided, showcased the beauty of the sport, heart, skill, and the unspoken bond between fighters who leave everything in the ring. As the lights dimmed and the crowd dispersed, the memory of Pacquiao's fists flashing under the Las Vegas sky lingered. The Filipino icon, still climbing the mountain of his legacy, had proven once again why he was a force unlike any other. Mosley, battered but unbowed, walked away with his head high, a warrior to the end. The night belonged to Pacquiao, but the story belonged to boxing, a tale of courage,